It kind of helped them advance. I mean, do you think this was a conspiracy?
Gotta go with Jacob Butter. Gotta go lefty.
No, we're talking about the players. That's tournament champion into the podcast.
There he is, right there.
Oh, he doesn't even know how to watch. Go to youtube.com and search Down Lane Podcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming live from the lab at Town and Country Lanes. I'm your host, Kyle Haines, and with me is the assistant to the host, Anthony Scaccia. Nothing?
No, I was videoing you so we can put that on YouTube tomorrow.
Nice.
Like the intro. Like how good it sounds every week. You know, so I thought it'd be fun.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get alerts from the channel. And please share with your friends like Mitch Young did. Thank you, Mitch. And if you can't catch us live on the show or on YouTube or what have you, you can always listen on your favorite podcast outlet. And please give us a 5-star review while you're doing that. That would be super helpful. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can message us there. You can see all of our antics there. And we'll be happy to follow you back and whatnot. And if you would like to give us some love, you can check out our merch shop on Etsy. And the link is in the show notes.
We have a brand new item coming.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me well, Austin? I turned this mic around a little bit, so I don't know if it's in the right spot anymore. But we got a nice dark horse one that's coming up. I just got to learn how to draw.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Welcome back to the show, Jack Papow! And let's see. If you would like to sponsor the show, we're always willing to take some sponsors. And
Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
That's right, all the big ones. So you're not supposed to give them a shout out until they actually pay us for it. Anyway, you can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. You can comment to us during the show, and we will chat with you and take your questions live on air as we do every week. And on today's episode, we got a little bit of news to get to for some results from some big tournaments.
Breaking news.
What's the breaking news? Oh, that broke yesterday or the day before, whatever it was.
Is it breaking still?
I don't know. We'll get to it.
Or is it already broken?
We're going to talk to a little bit about our week, a little bit of bowling. Anthony bowled in Aniba. We got a little survey in the mail that we answered. And then we'll get to this week's hot take, which is whether or not you use switch grips, what kind of finger grips you use, and how to really get a consistent feel, a consistent release, at least from the grip standpoint.
Let's rock it out, Kyle.
And that brings us to...
I've actually come prepared this week.
It's amazing that you do
This
it.
is probably the first time in 18 weeks that I've actually written.
Here we go again. Biff Tannen over here.
Written anything in the outline. So if I seem a little off today, everybody, it's because Kyle made me read from a script.
I did not. I just wanted to put some notes down for once in a great while. Anyway, let's see. The poll question was this week, do you use an interchangeable thumb slug? I was a little surprised by these results. What do you guess?
Last time I checked, it was 100% interchangeable.
That was like 2 seconds after the
That's the last time I checked.
All right. Well, I'm asking you what you think it is.
80-20.
It is almost split down the middle. 58% use some sort of interchangeable thumb, and 42% use a static thumb or a solid
one that stays in the thumb hole.
Right.
Interesting. Well, does the interchangeable count as a mold?
If it doesn't come out of the ball, I wouldn't consider it to be.
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess it is what it is. I mean, that's a little surprising to me, but actually not really. Most people I drove for, about 75% people don't use the interchangeables because they don't get that many bowling balls a year. But the guys who are a little more in tune with the game want to buy some more bowling balls a year. 98% of them have interchangeables.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll get to all that as far as when you should be using them, if you use them, etc. But that's a good point. There's, whether you're a tournament bowler bowling multiple days, multiple tournaments, multiple leagues with multiple bowling balls, that might be a good time. So, what did you do this week?
I went out to bowl the NEBA on Sunday.
Where was
the
that?
New England Bowling Association. It was pretty good. I will say I enjoyed it. It was a little bit of a tricky drive.
Where was it?
I think it's called Newington, which is Callahan's Bowlorama. Nice place. And it was a good event. A little tricky to get there because we had an ice storm.
That's right.
And a lot of people didn't make it, but as long as you took your time, you were going to get there. And I left my house at 6:00, got there at 8:30, and then when I came home, everything was water. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, so we live in the Northeast, if people don't know, and I had about 1/8 of an inch of ice on all of our vehicles and on the driveway. So that was a real blast.
Yeah, I had my windshield defroster on high and the most heat you could get. And my windshield was still freezing.
I was going to say, how did that work for you?
Yeah, my windshield wipers froze over, and then the windshield itself, if I took it off a little bit, it started to freeze up. I was like sweating.
Yeah.
Before I got
And that's
there.
a lot to say for you because you usually are.
I'm freezing right now, and both you guys are telling me we need a fan in here.
Yeah.
Like I'm in my pockets,
it's
freezing.
Yeah. Yeah, but the good part of the day, other than the ice and the rain and all that stuff.
I think they had 90 competitors. I think 15 of them were points leaders, so they made it to the second round automatically because it was an invitational tournament, I guess you could call it. That's what they call it. And they took 25 off the first squad, believe it or not, because they had $7,000 added, and I qualified 7th. I had a $190, 230, 250, 240, 190. I kind of cruised into the last game. I was up on the cup by about 90 to 100, so I knew as long as I didn't do really bad.
Yeah.
I was in. So I kind of went on cruise control, just made shots, made some spares. Wasn't really concerned about really stringing anything together, just making sure that I shoot about 180, 190. And that's what we got. So made that, and then
it was a slog, though. Like
a slog.
Like you had.
We should do like a definition.
Oh, is slog tough?
Never heard of slog.
It's like dragged out and hard.
So I mean, the first event was five games, which wasn't bad. It moved along.
Not first event. The first.
The second part of it.
The initial. Opening of the tournament. I don't even know how to describe it because it was not even qualifier, but it was
the qualifying round was a little lower in score. Like it dragged.
No, it was 5 games and then you had finals.
Okay, so so we bowled 5 games. I qualified 7th. I think it was 120 over, and then sat there, ate lunch. They had to re-oil the lanes for the second pattern, and then the 25 or whatever amount of people was who made it, plus the 15 finalists, had to bowl 8 games of match play, 4 to a pair. High score got 60 bonus pins. Second got 40 bonus pins. Third got 20, and fourth got 0. So, and there was one position round. It was game 8. And so, it was kind of a lot of stop go. I think it was a little too long. I really liked the format, though. The format was really fun because I got to bowl everybody. Most people. I didn't actually get to bowl everybody, but it was pretty close. And then, like you said, it was dragged out. It could have been a little dragged out. I mean, 8 games is a lot after I just bowled 5, and it was stop go. So when I got done, you had to go bowl other people. So when we moved to a different pair, typically I'm a fast-paced player, I guess I would call myself. I don't really take a lot of time in the approach.
I sit down, take a break,
when it's my turn.
Up.
When it's my turn, it's my turn. Like I'm up there while they're finishing their shot.
Yeah, if you watch our nationals video, you're already holding your ball while our 5th or 4th bowler is in the middle of their approach. Like you were so anxious to go.
I mean, I'm not anxious. I'm just I'm ready to go. Like I'm not gonna sit there and dilly dally around.
Right.
Because I don't like to bowl that way. I like to be ready when it's my turn, when my name's up there, when it gets up there, I'm up there.
Right.
So I bowl like that. And every time we went to a new pair, I was always one of the first ones done. And until we bowled with one guy, which wasn't a big deal because it was actually kind of nice to not have to wait. But for like one or 2 matches, I had to wait 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10, 12 minutes. And then it was like almost every time. So I got a little cold. I had to put my sweatshirt back on. I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, but that's probably like complaining, but it's not. But it was a good format. I liked it. It was just a little long, and I had to bowl 5 games prior, so I was on game. I bowled 13 games that day, which didn't bother me. I bowled Monday, I bowled Tuesday, I bowled yesterday. I feel nothing, which is
Do you stretch before you pat yourself on the back?
no. I'm just saying I don't feel anything. Like usually guys will be sore or something. They'll take a few days off.
Well,
it
you're
was long,
bringing up the format. My only issue with that format, and of course I didn't bowl in enough tournaments to even be eligible to bowl in this one for the NEBA, that is. But my only issue is that there were these points leaders that didn't have to bowl 5 games, and that's to take the majority of the players that are in the tournament and they're bowling 5 games, and then these guys get to walk in fresh and bowl 8 games against everybody. By the end of the day, guys that maybe don't usually bowl 13 games, most people probably don't even at that level. It just doesn't seem fair or right to me that just because they were points leaders, everybody got an invitation to that tournament, or all those people got an invitation to that tournament. They should all bowl the same tournament. I don't think that there should be a difference between point leaders or, 16th place.
It's shocking.
That they have to bowl 5 games.
It's shocking that you have an opinion on this.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to bring you.
Right. I understand what you're saying. I liked the format. I thought it was cool. I thought it was fun. It was something different.
I like the format of the.
I don't really
of the bowling.
Yeah.
I just personally don't think that they should walk in 15 guys fresh.
It is what it is.
And be able to only bowl 8 games.
Well, the thing that I guess I don't want to say it bothered me, but the thing that was just interesting is they still had to pay $150, but they
bowled less.
They bowled that, yeah.
But they also got automatic.
They also got paid.
That's right. They got paid.
Everybody who made that round got paid.
They might as well have just bowled for free.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And if they made anything extra, then you pay them out. I mean, it was a very interesting format. I don't care. I thought it was fun. I thought the patterns were, we talked about them going a little bit easier. Actually, you can see what they're going to put out now. So
they usually always release the.
Yeah, but they release
they release a bank of patterns.
Right. Short recreation.
Right.
Short. Okay. Sport, short challenge, so I can kind of see what it is and I can pick and choose where I want to go, so I don't have to wait for it. But it was good. I mean, the patterns played a little bit harder than for some people. The first shift, I thought both shifts played exactly the same. Yeah. I just stink.
So Sarah Hood's asking, those bowlers earn their bye through right?
Yeah, so they basically were points leaders. So
the difference being
they bowl every
5 games.
But they bowl every tournament, so they were the points leader, which gave them the bye.
I understand, but she's refuting my point. Yes, she's saying that that they earned their bye, and I see what you're saying. I think I said this to you this week, if it was a 2-day event, and you had the main squad, the big squad,
and then you cut
bowl 5 games, and then had a rest, and everybody had the same physical amount of games the next day, that makes sense to me. But bowling 5 games, sitting, eating lunch, my body gets super tightened back up.
Well, yeah,
it doesn't get loose. It takes a while to get loose.
It was tight. I will say I wasn't.
I just don't. I think if it was 2 days, you separated the events, and then everybody came back on Sunday, that would be way more fair. If you wanted to give those guys a bye,
I see what you're saying. I mean, it didn't really bother me too much. Yeah, I mean, I guess 8 games for them is a little bit easier. The thing that bothered me was not bothered me, but for myself was, I had to drive out there. It was pretty tough conditions to get there.
Yeah, 2.5 hour drive.
So I had to really pay attention to the roads, so my mind's really working there. You go bowl 5 games, and I didn't throw double the first game.
Just so everybody knows, Austin's laughing at Anthony, so that because he mentioned his brain working.
Right. So my brain was working for the 5 games. Then I turned my brain off while I ate because I can eat without thinking. And then I had to turn my brain back on.
Where is this conversation even going?
Mentally,
I was even make sense.
Mentally, I was pretty tired. That's where I was going. Those guys didn't
eat without my mind on. Okay.
But when you're bowling, you gotta when you're shooting spares and crap, you always gotta be thinking about where you're gonna throw it, the angle, the launch angle, this stuff. That's what I mean. So by game 6, I didn't know where I was.
Newington, Connecticut.
I'm pretty sure a few shots I threw, I was like, what was I thinking there? Yeah. And I was like, well, I didn't. Yeah. So that was my problem. I mean, that was the only thing. It was mentally. Physically, I was fine. But mentally, that you're in game 12, 13. Those guys are watching for 5.
Yeah.
I guess that's what my thing is.
Oh, and that's another thing
Mentally,
too.
they're
Is
fresh.
they're not just that, they're mentally fresh, they're physically fresh. If they come an hour early, they can watch everybody, see how the lanes are
I
playing.
mean, it is what it is.
And I get the advantage. That's fine. I just think it should be separated by days so that, and not that you want to put a hotel room on, because if you cash, okay, you basically paid for a hotel room.
Basically.
But it should just be physically fair, in my opinion.
Okay, well, that was good.
So Mitch Young says, come on, we all know when Ant bowls, it's just fire it up 5 and enjoy the left wall.
To be honest with you, I played them exactly the same, and I looked at board 3.
There you go.
Mitch, you're 2 boards off.
So this week,
I will say it's way different having Austin here. I can watch his facial expressions when I say
fun,
things.
Isn't it?
You're
Austin's
not watching.
Austin. Oh, I've been watching. Austin's in the room with us this week because we changed up our audio and stuff, which hopefully it sounds better for you guys. And now Austin can just be right in here with us, and we can chat with him. And
anyways, NEBA wrap up. It was good. I thought it was good. It was enjoyable.
You had a good showing. You were up towards the top most of the day.
I almost made the cut until I shot 180.
Did you have a 150 game in there somewhere?
The 150 game came after the 180 game, and I was 100. I was 150 out after that.
Yeah.
I was 40 out, and then after that game, I went to 150 out.
Yeah.
So then I was like,
and then with bonus pins and everything, it's just.
I was like,
you.
well, I'm gonna have to shoot 300 to get 160, 160, and then I'm
yeah,
still gonna be 20 out going to position round. Oh, okay. It was interesting though. I mean, the cut I think was plus 550.
Yeah, but again, I don't remember exactly all of his matches, but I mean, he basically won the majority of his matches on all the pairs, right?
Who?
The
one?
Yeah,
Alex Aguiar?
Alex Aguiar won, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Dude's
so,
an
but
animal.
yeah, I mean, the numbers were.
I thought he was bowling bad too. Like I bowled next to him one game, and he seemed like he was like distraught.
Yeah.
Like absolutely disheveled. Like everywhere.
Shot 210.
He was like, yeah, like
days.
And he was striking everywhere, but he was crossing over and doing some
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, man, he must not be bowling good. I'm like, I'm surprised. And then all of a sudden I hear number 1 seed Alex Aguiar, and I'm like, what? Hold on a second. The guy looks like he wasn't bowling good by his body language, and he's absolutely lighting him up. And I was like,
so you mean like
I want to be that guy?
Every bowler ever that has one bad shot and he's completely distraught.
I don't think it was like one bad shot, but it just looked like his mind was puzzled on how to play the lane.
Yeah,
but I looked over and
he was doing fine.
Yeah, crushing him. Beat me by like 400 pins.
Yeah,
maybe 500 pins actually.
That's with bonus pins though. His score didn't beat you by.
Does
500.
not matter.
I'm just saying the score didn't beat you by 500.
I don't care.
I'm just saying.
He beat me by 500.
All right. So this week, if you guys were a USBC member, I believe it went out to all USBC members. Austin, did you get this too? The Bowl TV survey? He says no.
We must be important.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. So we got this Bowl TV survey from the USBC, basically asking. It was, I mean, thorough, I guess you could say, because there was like 36 questions on this survey.
Did you skip any?
No,
I did.
I didn't skip any of them. If it didn't apply to me, I just made it average, I guess. Like,
well, there was one where I didn't know how to answer, so I just left it blank.
But they, they were asking how they could improve. Do you subscribe? And then after I said no, I don't subscribe, it was like asking me all these subscription questions. But anyway, the main takeaway for me was that I begged them, as we've discussed before, to collaborate with the PBA or do something so that we don't have multiple streaming platforms to have to go to, which we've talked about this before. But
Kyle's very strongly opinionated on this topic. Cue Kyle having a rant.
I don't have terrible things to say about Bowl TV. I mean, their production value is pretty good.
Thank you for going on a rant.
Am I ranting?
I'm going to count this.
Okay.
It's not in the script.
But anyway, you don't script rants. Anyway, no, I was just saying that was my big thing is I told him that I don't want to pay for it because I think it should be free to everybody because that's the only way you're going to grow the sport, by getting people that aren't going to pay for it to watch. And I also think that they need to collaborate with the PBA, even though they are two different businesses. I get that. But they need to collaborate together so that there's one platform. You can watch pro bowling, men's pro bowling, women's pro bowling, and then all of the other events that they have, like college and others.
I'm pretty sure I told them that their production looks like my 4-year-old nephew did it. They're not trying to be mean, but I'm like some of the things that they have on there is not bad.
Strike Cloud production is a million times better.
Right.
Which, by the way,
remember when we watched the PWBA final though?
yeah, no, it was bad. I know.
That wasn't good.
But so
I'm not trying to beat on people, but like it's got to be better.
Yeah,
if you want me to pay for it, it's got to be better.
I agree. And the coverage during the week has to be really good too. It can't just be static cameras up behind the lanes that are, unfocused and just trying to guess who they are and what they knock down on the lanes. But this, I was saying before, the Strike Cloud app, their production was like live television. It was not just static cameras or whatever. They had real cameras. You could pick your different views. We talked about this, a couple months ago when they had the IBF World Championships. Speaking of that, though, Tom Clark, I read in an interview on 11th Frame, the Bowling News website. He now has a position with the IBF, and he also was asked about. I'm trying to bring this all together here, but he was also asked about flow bowling, and his answer was very vague and not very. I don't know what you're doing.
How are you going to tie it together?
Oh, so his answer was not very strong with flow bowling. He was asked how it's going or if they're going to keep it going, and he said that in a blank statement, just they're on for 2022. So it didn't sound like they have a very good relationship right now. So maybe here's my connection. Strike Cloud, not that I want a second option, but maybe they'll go to Strike Cloud because their production value is so much better now that he has a position at Strike Cloud.
And you connected both.
At the IBF.
You connected both now.
There you go.
Very good.
Thank you for the
visual,
the puppeteering. Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome.
So I don't know. I don't know if you watched any of the Strike Cloud app when the World Championships were on.
Yep.
But I thought it was really good.
Well, if you thought it was good, then it had to be pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, look at our production value, right? I mean, our cameras are static.
Well, we could move them if we wanted to, but
yeah, by hand.
Yes.
But we don't have, a multi-million-dollar budget.
We could.
Like the PBA does. Not yet. That's right, Austin. Not yet. So yeah, the Bowl TV survey went out. Hopefully everybody answered honestly and didn't just give their, oh, it's great, so don't spend any more money on it type answer.
I didn't.
I know you didn't. Let's get to some news then, shall we?
Beep, 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 beep. You still haven't put that in yet.
Sorry. We can drop sound effects now. Austin, you got to get on this. Yep. So we were talking a week or two ago about Team USA trials. We got the results in.
The results are in.
Here they are. So the tournament winners in each division, men and women, you have Shannon Pulowski and Darren Tang. They were the tournament leaders and champions.
Congratulations.
On the amateur side, I'm going to try to not butcher this. Chloe Scherzinski of Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and Trent Mitchell of Chicago were the highest non-professionals to compete.
So they win something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're on the team. I have the visual here.
Congratulations.
But yeah, so then on top of those guys, you have Jacob Butterf, AJ Johnson.
Jacob Butterf.
What did I say?
Butterf.
Jacob Butterf.
How you pronounce his name?
AJ Johnson.
Can't throw an R in there when it's not there.
I'm sorry. Marshall Kent. So yeah, Trent Mitchell's on the team. Nick Pate. Jake Peters. Let's see. Christopher Prather. He got in through the resume selection. So he did bowl last week, but they selected him because he didn't finish high enough. They selected him via the resume.
Probably a good idea.
I would say so. Matt Russo, EJ Tackett, obviously Darren Tang, Kyle Troop, and Chris Vaya are all.
Any relation to Guppy?
Breaking news. Kyle Troop is the son of Guppy Troop. He's a Hall of Famer, right? Guppy? I think so.
I don't know.
Pretty sure he's a Hall of Famer. And then on the women's side, you got Julia Bond, Brianna Clemmer, Brianna Cote, Stephanie Johnson, Danielle McEwen, guest of the show, Shannon O'Keefe, Missy Parkin, Lauren Pate, Shannon Pulowski, we said, Jordan Richard, Chloe Scherzinski, like we said, and Stephanie Zavala.
Very cool.
Yep.
Great research. Great job.
Thanks. Just typed it in the Google machine.
Proud of you.
Actually, the DuckDuckGo machine. And then some not honorable mentions, but let's talk about Junior Team USA.
Absolutely.
You got Ryan Barnes.
Son of Chris Barnes.
Yeah, listen to this. Ryan Barnes, Brandon Bone. And then we got Brandon Bonta, Will Clark, Cameron Crowe. Is that the director, Cameron Crowe, like the movie guy?
Direct relation.
Zach Graham. I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, Zach. Tyrell Ingalls, William Jones, Alec Keplinger, Brett Lloyd.
How many players do they have?
They have a lot because I'm guessing they probably need to fill spots on Junior Team USA to be able to, maybe not have them travel around the world at all times. But anyway, I'm just guessing that. Did I say Jordan Malott?
Must be West Malot's kid.
Michael Marmolejo, Anthony Newer, the Ginger Assassin, Spencer Robarge. Let's see. I skipped a couple here. TJ Rock, Solomon Salama, Julian Salinas, and last but not least, Carter Street. So congratulations to the boys.
You're going to go through the girls'
And
team?
here we go. On the girls' team,
I'm going to take a nap.
Alyssa Ballard, Mabel Cummins, Lindsay Ennis, Jael Hammond, Daniel Jedlicki, Jennifer Laredo, Jillian Martin, of course, probably the best, at least current, maybe let's see, she's on here too, Jillian Martin, but she's probably one of the best junior girls out there, yeah, and bowlers in general, yeah, for sure. I think she beats all the guys too, right?
Probably,
yeah. Saraline Nosberg, Amanda. Oh, I'm sorry. Now
Amanda
Jokas. Nope. Morgan Nunn, Annalise O'Brien, Paige Peters, Brooke Roberts, Caroline Thesier, sorry, Victoria Verano, and that's
yes,
McEwen's sister.
Yes.
She's pretty good. Jenna Williams, and last but not least, Ashton Woods. So
congratulations, everybody.
Congratulations, boys and girls, and the men and women of Team USA.
Austin, you got to clap.
Yeah, we need the sound effects. It sounds like a whole lot of people in here. But yeah, so Team USA trials, I was thinking about this too. I don't know that there's another sport that allows you to, just
pay to go be an All-American. Basically.
Yeah, but you can pay to be in the tournament, but why not, right? Everybody in America, you got to sign up and not get locked out, but everybody in America can basically sign up to be on Team USA.
So would you have your
not
children
sign up
do
to
it?
be, but sign up to try out?
Would you have your children sign up to try out? Would
Heck
you do
yeah,
it?
why
If they
not?
were like, yeah, I want to go do it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's 18 of them.
You're hoping that one of your two is going to be one of 18.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
You never know.
I don't think in tennis or in golf. I was reading up on the other USA teams, and it seems like you have to be points leaders in order to be on Team USA. They just kind of
they do it by points,
right?
So whoever has the lowest amount of points is actually the winner.
I'm not talking about the scoring of golf. I'm just saying. You're such a jerk. I'm just saying that.
Wow, I'm really confused because that's actually what they do in the
but
bowling.
there's not. What I'm saying is there's not a tournament to go enter, as far as I'm aware, that I could find to enter to be on Team USA. Anybody that's a bowler can go in and try out for Team USA.
That's cool.
Yeah,
let's do it.
I don't think there's. I think everybody else just goes by points lists.
Will the show pay for it next year?
Austin, will you pay for us? That's why we need sponsors. No, but anyway, I just thought it was really neat about bowling, just like the Open Championships, that everybody can try it if they wanted to.
Absolutely, great time, and I highly recommend it.
And it is a extremely difficult tournament or event, because I think it was 5 days, 5 different patterns or something to that effect. Or I could be off on a number of days, but yeah, it's yeah, that's right. Just like anyone with a 180 average can go and take a run at the U.S. Open. Thanks,
Don't you have to qualify for that? There are qualifiers now.
Yes, there are PTQs. Basically.
Yeah, but there's you have to qualify for it because they capped it.
Right.
So yes, you could if you make the cut. Right? Is it?
Yeah.
Man, I would just be off today. Not understanding things.
So Sarah, I agree with you. So Sarah Hood wrote, "Strike Cloud won't help when the commentators walk off for like 3 games at a time." It's the same exact way for Bowl TV and Flow Bowling when they're not doing the actual live show. I mean, it's all live, but when they're not doing the finals live show, they'll just be like, all right, we're going to go get some lunch. We'll leave the cameras on. No commentating, nothing. It's just silence other than the faintest sound of pins.
Wow.
So
I do like that sound, though.
Sure. But I agree with her there.
Silence.
But I think all of those platforms do exactly the same thing. So I don't think that'll be fixed unless they put all of their money behind one setup. And I agree with you. Flow is way worse. Thanks, Sarah. Worth.
Mason was here.
Yeah. So moving on, because we got to move through this. It was Declaration Day this week.
Jack did the. Well,
are you busy? You're busy.
Well, there was a. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Declaration Day, Declaration of Independence. So what happened is the PBA had a. They had a. Sorry, I literally my computer keeps messing up. They had a Declaration Day to save somebody from their PBA league team or to drop
specifically
them.
for the PBA league.
Sorry, my whole computer literally dropped everything
Nice.
down underneath the taskbar. So for the New York City Kingpins, they saved Pete Weber, Darren Tang, and Marshall Kent, dropped Kyle Sherman and Oscar Palermo. The Snickers Wacko Wonder
Waco
saved Walter Ray Williams Jr., BJ Moore, Thomas Larson, and they dropped Brad Angelo and Rhino Page. That's pretty cool. I like their name. Silver Lake Adam Splitters saved Jesper Svensson, Tom Daugherty.
Doherty?
I always spell it. Say
Dude,
it wrong.
what are you doing?
Chris Pye, and they dropped Chris Barnes and AJ Chapman. I'm sorry, I just can't pronounce things.
Chris Barnes, by the way, tweeted out and he said he fully agrees with the coach's decision.
Does he?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. LAX, they saved Belmo, Jacob Butter, and Stu Williams. They dropped Patrick Gerard, Anthony Levery Spar. Motown Muscle saved EJ Tackett, Anthony Simonson. They dropped Josh Blanchard, Mitch Hoope, and Matt McNeil. Guaranteed Rate Chicago Hitman saved Dom Barrett, Tom Smallwood, and Sean Maldonado. They dropped Jason Sterner and Matt Ogle, which is kind of surprising because both those guys can bowl pretty well. They can throw the pellet down the lane. The PBR Milwaukee Pounders, was that their team name last year?
No. I think it was Milwaukee Brewers or Brews or something
Brews.
like that. Yeah.
Brew City Ballers.
Okay, yeah,
Wow.
thank you.
Big name change here. Hopefully they got their jerseys already changed. They saved Sean Rash, Ryan Simonelli, and Dick Allen, which is cool because we know Dick Allen.
That's right.
Anyways,
We'll talk about that at the end of the show.
They dropped Chris Sloan and Zeke Bate. Dallas Strikers saved Norm Duke, Tommy Jones, Bill O'Neill. They dropped Brad Miller and Nick Pate. Las Vegas, I was going to say L.A., but their Las Vegas High Rollers saved Francois Lavoie, Andrew Anderson, A.J. Johnson. They dropped Rich Teese and Ildemaro Ruiz.
That's right. Ruiz.
Pretty good for a guy who can't read.
That's pretty good. That was impressive.
Portland Lumberjacks saved Wes Malott, Kyle Troop, Chris Prather, and they dropped Martin Larson and Packy Henry.
I was surprised about Martin Larson. I thought he was doing pretty good.
Well, I think they all looked to drop two guys, so they must have had
to. Basically the rules were you could save up to 3 and you could pick none. So anywhere in between 0 to 3.
Sure.
You could save.
And they couldn't pick anybody, so they just dropped them. Now everybody's in the player pool, and then they're going to have a draft.
Right. So everyone else that wasn't picked, you're in the pool to be put back in the draft. So it's not like they're out.
Are the women in the player pool?
So they don't have a women's team anymore because, according to Tom Clark, because the PWBA is back in full swing, they didn't want to. I don't think they wanted to take their time off of the tour. However, the women that were on those teams are back into the player pool, so they can still be drafted.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I don't know if anybody watched this thing in the middle of the day on a Monday, I think it was, right? It was like at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday or Tuesday. But basically, it was like watching a live Zoom meeting. And everybody was literally using their webcams. Can you bring that up? Did you see the picture there? They were literally using their webcams to do this this declaration. I mean, I would have at least thought that from Tom Clark's vantage point. Okay, listen, if you don't want to bring all these people together, you can have them do their thing. I mean, he literally has the television on in his background. Like, I appreciate the trophy case. Look at it. I appreciate the trophy case.
Oh, yeah,
it looks great.
him.
But the TV was literally live while they were doing this. But like I was saying, at the very least, at least Tom Clark could have had a little podium and a little bit of show, and not just sitting in his office with a webcam up his nose like all these guys. I mean, it was just the production value was severely lacking. I know we keep talking about this, but have a little bit of pomp and circumstance to make it exciting to watch.
He was watching Criminal Minds, Mitch Young said.
Yeah, and Mitch said Carolyn Dorland Ballard had horrible internet service. We've experienced that, so I can't knock him bad on that one. But we've had one of the most prolific bowlers in the history of bowling on our show, and we couldn't get the internet fixed. So I can feel that pain for sure. But I mean, they could have had a little bit of setup, a little bit of something to make it look big and exciting. But that just, in my opinion, goes with the way of the league anyway. I like the idea of team bowling. I love team bowling. I think all bowlers enjoy team bowling.
Yes.
But I don't know that it translates very well on television. I don't know if it's as exciting. People don't, again, back with the how singles is, they don't know how these guys got on the team. They don't know, why these players were picked. Every player has to go back through the draft. There's no consistent team that you're supporting all of the time. I mean, I understand there's no consistent team in football or baseball or whatever either, but at least there's your mainstays. So I think they tried to do that this year, to try to bring in some mainstays and say, this is our team. We're bringing in these new people, but you can always just be recycled. It's just, I don't know. It's a little strange to me. There should be a team. There should be these guys. Hey, they got a contract. They're on for 5 years at $10,000 a year or whatever, because it's not gonna be that much money. But
I'm in.
you have to be good though.
I don't care. I'm in. Need a spare shooter? I'm here.
There we
go. I'll be the. They should have a bench.
Right.
I'll ride the bench.
Yeah. Why not?
You need a spare? Like, Johnny cannot make this spare today. Hey, bub, you're in. Yes, coach.
Put me in, coach.
What am I good for? Spares. You're gonna be erased right after we get out of here. You're gonna dropped. Go back to the bench.
Yeah.
But yeah, that seems like that would be awesome. Bench players.
Just like a kicker.
You got to throw a strike.
Man. Yeah.
Man, Chris is not throwing it good today. Johnny, you feeling good? You're in. One shot for the win. That'd be way more dramatic.
Yeah, that's true. Just like a kicker in football. Yeah. Just bring him in.
Guy's on the sideline all game, and he's like,
"Yep,
haven't kicked the ball all day besides this extra point. Now we're kicking 55 yards for the win."
Yeah, I will say the pre-COVID playoffs were entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole crowd was yelling. I mean,
they're
yelling through their whole approach.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love that.
The guys
stuff.
love it. It seems like they actually get to be themselves, have fun.
Yep.
So I think if they just get back to that, it'll be fine. But I do think there is a points. You have to qualify for the draft on points.
I think you're right. I'm not 100% sure.
Because I remember back in the day watching Brad and Kyle talk about it, and Kyle was like, "Oh, I made it on points.
Yeah,
I'm in the draft."
That's cool.
Paige Nelson, I agree completely. Bring in dramatic trade offers. I'm with you, man. I think it should be way more. Mitch, hold on to your shorts there, because we may try to do a fantasy bowling draft again. Yeah, but during the league season, I think would be a great idea. The PBA league. That way it brings it. Shush it.
Cheaters.
And then thank you, Mitch. Top 75 in points qualify for the draft. So let's move on to more PBA news. Coley Edison, where's she going? The rumors were true. WNBA.
That stinks.
Not
a big WNBA guy.
So, but she's being hired as a growth avenue. So she's, her whole role there is to grow the WNBA. I was reading an article again on 11th Frame. I think Jeff Richkels wrote it. I'm sorry, Jeff, if I'm not saying your name right. But he basically pointed out that most of the stuff that they
was changed basically.
put on her as far as saying that she accomplished was actually already done the year before Bolero was even involved, such as Flow Bowling, the Fox Sports deal.
Interesting.
Again, I will say Bolero brought in a ton of money and they brought in all the nice technology and everything. But Jeff was pointing out the fact that, she didn't truly grow it. It was already on a good path, which, I think all of the PBA players and the PBA staff really liked her and said that she did a great job. So it's probably a little bit of both, I would say, as far as the growth.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's the way it ended right there.
Yeah.
The ties have been cut.
The ties have been cut. Let's move on.
The cut has been tied.
We're excited to see who the new
the cut has been
the
tied.
new choice will be.
Isn't that how I'm supposed to say it? The cut has been tied? Because I'm supposed to be wrong.
I don't even know what that means. The cut has been tied.
I know. It's supposed to be the ties have been cut, but because I say things
because
backwards,
you're an idiot. I get it. Yeah.
I said the ties have been, the cut has been tied.
And last but not least, Mookie Betts will be competing in the PBA West Region qualifier for the Players Championship.
Good.
Good.
I don't know what you want me to say to that.
I don't know.
It doesn't excite me.
It may not excite you, but I think it could bring in some outside viewers that
Yeah, but I mean,
are his fans in baseball. And
what
stuff.
coverage are they going to get?
In the West Region?
Yeah.
Well, all of the finals have their
So
own.
he needs to make a final for
I
there to be any
understand,
relevance.
but the PBA can still use it. They can video them, send out tweets or videos or
yeah, but
Instagram posts or whatever, just to
20 minutes left. Austin, you made 2-0.
we can go as long as we want, Austin. All right,
we can go a little longer.
But the point being is, I think his fan base was probably hundreds of thousands of people or millions of people. There's got to be a few bowlers sprinkled in there that would want to see,
or
what he's
people in
doing.
general, out of the million people, like, oh, he's doing that. That's cool.
Yeah, and
but they're not going to show him. Like, yeah, they'll do tweets and this and that, but they're not going to have like a Mookie Betts camera where a guy just walks with.
Yeah.
What do you have for lunch? Oh, where are you going now? You going to go to the bathroom? Can I go in with you? Like, they're not going to do that.
Yeah,
They're going to show. Oh, he threw a strike here.
Yeah,
one of probably a few.
I understand, but
at
the very least,
maybe they should spotlight him.
They could. Maybe they will.
Because let's be honest, nobody's going to care what Stu Williams is doing. They're going to care what Mookie Betts is doing.
The outsiders, you're right.
Yeah, right. And those are the people.
Even the bowlers will be interested in seeing what he's doing.
Yeah, but if you're trying to bring in more people, you have to have the people who are not as into the game. They have to have some kind of interest. If they see, like, not trying to be mean, but like they don't know who Stu is.
Right.
Great guy, but they don't know who he is. They want to watch Mookie Betts.
Yeah. Agreed.
You know what I mean? So you got to keep Mookie Betts on the spotlight. Doesn't matter who's winning. Just follow Mookie Betts around.
Yeah, from a rating standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ratings are everything, right?
Yep.
Production. That's what Kyle says. Got to have
right.
value in production.
Exactly right. All right. Let's move into our hot take here. We're talking about grips, thumbs. How do you get a consistent feel? This affects literally every bowler, even the two-handers that only use two fingers, because everybody has some sort of finger grip, whether it's an insert or not, and they have either an interchangeable thumb or a solid thumb, et cetera, et cetera. So we want to talk about something that pertains to literally everyone in the game, and that's grips and thumbs and fit.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you want me to start off?
Sure.
There's quite a few styles for each and every person. There's multiple interchangeable thumb systems on there. I actually missed one that I just thought of. There's multiple finger inserts. Yeah, there's a bunch of just so many of them. So we're gonna just run over kind of like the most popular, one that's probably got some buzz around it, and we're gonna talk about just kind of your run-of-the-mill grips, or not grips, fits. We have some extra ones on there. Static thumbs. Yes, okay. So Sarah likes static thumbs.
No, she said F the what? Like, anyway.
Apparently, I don't know what that means.
Oh, real quick, though, shout out to Mitch Young. He asked for this topic last week, so we dove right into it. We wanted to bring it up this week.
So first, why are you thinking or changing to a interchangeable thumb system? one of the reasons is you get a more consistent feel from ball to ball with your thumb. Thumb is probably the most important part of bowling if you're not a two-hander or a two-fingered player. So, having that thumb that feels really good in your hand is probably the most important thing at all times because you're always going to have confidence in it. You probably are going to clear it more often than not. You're going to throw the ball better because it's one less variable. Wouldn't you say that's going to be?
Sorry, Sarah. I totally screwed that up.
Oh, for the win. Okay.
I'm not an LOL kind of guy. I don't know if
Whatever.
you guys know this about me, but
No one knows this about you.
yeah.
But anyways, so there's less hassle. There's less hassle for the player. You don't have to tweak every thumb hole to be exactly the way you want it to feel. It's not going to take forever. Not like you're going to mess it up. The thumb is the thumb. You have a really favorite thumb. It goes into ball to ball. Your pro shop operator doesn't have to worry about it as much. Not saying that they shouldn't because that's their job. But once they make one or two thumbs that are the nut,
Yep,
you get to keep them. They get to go to ball with you. So that's what we're going to really harp on. And if you travel, if you're on the PWBA tour, regional tour, whatever, or the PBA tour, or the
Local
small
tours,
circuit,
tournaments,
yeah.
whatever,
If you
yeah.
got to get a ball drilled because you think you need it, if they have the interchangeable thumb systems with it, whether that be Jopo, Ultimate, Vice, Turbo, you can get a ball drilled there. And they can just match it up, and you don't have to worry about them working out a thumb because they might like to do it differently than your pro shop operator because guys have their own styles. So the first one, which is probably
hang on a second. Sarah said she's gonna let me off the fact that I didn't know FTW.
Yeah,
but you are not off the hook because I assume this is an age comment. I'm not that old, okay?
yeah, he is. I use emoticons. I don't use the word emoji. I use emoticons. I do use LOL. Yeah, I was thinking. Right, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So the first most popular style I think is probably taken over this shop in general is the Vice. The IT system, the interchangeable thumb system, it's is short for that. I am currently using them myself. It's in all my stuff. My blue ball in the front has it. It's got it's got a thumb that screws in. It's not a half turn. It actually has like a thread on it. I actually switched to them because the plastic piece on Turbo, I think, was actually bothering my hand. I don't know why.
The rim,
the outer, the wall, the
sleeve.
piece that goes into the ball, the sleeve. It actually kind of hurt my hand. I think because when I switched back, I didn't have any problems. But so I switched to those.
You probably didn't drill it right.
Probably. The pros of those is, if that thumb does break, you can replace the bottom thread, which I do like. And there's no extra glue kind of around it. The glue goes into I use glue on the bottom piece where the thumb doesn't thread into it. So I don't have to worry about it getting stuck in there with super glue or anything. The second most popular here, I mean, it probably is really close 50-50, is the Turbo switch grips. I've used them forever. I switched them recently. Kyle and Austin use them.
You switched from them.
I switched from them.
Yeah.
They're half turns, so they don't go all the way through. They've got wings on the top of them. I'm terrible because I don't even know I have pictures.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so like I use the turbos.
Yeah, so the turbos are here.
And
those are the inners. I didn't take any outers.
Yeah.
You can see there's a wing on them. They are half turns.
Yeah, that's the actual thumb slug.
That's the actual thumb itself.
Yeah, and then it slides down into the sleeve.
Those are the vices. That
Yep.
bottom, they screw in. You can see the differences there.
For me, like I think it's fine, but there's too much tweaking. If you like your thumb and you want to keep it for as long as possible, the keys on the thumb slug wear out almost very quickly.
So you didn't go to my pros.
I'm sorry. All right. I was just talking.
I know
about
what you're
myself.
saying. The pros, because it's a one-piece interchangeable, there's no extra pieces to it. The thumbs don't typically break.
Yeah.
Now, if they do break and the piece the wings do fall off or they get worn, you can put a black piece of electrical tape or a black thumb tape into the sleeve of the ball, and that will tighten it up so that way you can continually use it without having it actually click in.
Yeah.
So the thumb technically never breaks. in my opinion. It
Right.
never
You got to
breaks.
have at least one of those keys in there, though.
I guess so.
Otherwise, it's going to slide out on you.
I mean, I guess, but if you turn, yeah, I mean, I guess, but if you have the black
Go back
tape
to
in it,
the turbo ones.
yeah, Austin, go
yeah,
back to
those
the
ones there.
turbos.
So that's what we're talking about are the turbo thumb slugs, the switch grips. And those, if you look at the green one, that's pretty clear. That's the little key that's in there, and those get worn out really easily, and some of them even break off. And then also based on the density of the ball, some slugs, I have this all the time. Some slugs are
It's
loose,
easier to
some
put it-
slugs are tight.
I think that's with every interchangeable though.
It could be. I haven't
Because
used the other ones.
Because like I haven't had a problem with that, but certain other people, my girlfriend, she uses the Storm stuff, and typically the Storm stuff for me, when the weather changes, the cores change more.
Right.
So actually they protrude out farther, and then
Right.
she can't get her thumb in the ball.
Because she's using its.
Right, she's using
Yeah.
the interchange, the ones that I use.
So that's the benefit of having the sleeve, I guess, is that it reduces.
It's tightened up. Yes, it tightens
the
up,
amount
but
of-
you can take out. It's easier to take out the sleeve of plastic than it is the weight block that's denser than dense.
Right. Well, my point is, when you put your thumb in with
They're both good though. I
with
prefer the Vices now.
with the turbos, every ball is going to have a different amount of tape on the inside. The blacks,
Yes, they do
sliding
change.
tape.
Yes,
But
they do work
ultimately
well
they're
though.
pretty good. The thing that I don't love, and I haven't used the Vice ones to know, or Jopos or any of them, is it is a half turn, which is great, but if one is really tight, if I have to switch thumbs, I have to wait a minute because my thumb gets
Sweaty.
not just sweaty, but it's just all of it. It just gets a little swollen from doing that twist motion.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised when I see guys on TV switch their thumbs into a spare ball, because I would be not in a.
It's not that bad.
Maybe not.
I
But
don't
for
do
me,
it,
it
but
is.
it's not that
I use a separate thumb for my spare.
If you're getting a lot of friction in your thumbs, if your thumb was tight,
It's not just the friction. It's when it's tight in there, and I do the twist. It twists my whole, all the skin on my thumb and stuff. I'm being very picky about it, but I will hang up every time. So that's why I use a separate switch grip in my
I always
spare
keep
ball
my
that
spare-
actually stays.
I typically keep
in
my
that
spare ball
ball.
the same way.
Yeah.
But I have an old turbo one in it that I like the feel of.
Yeah.
That I got used to. But
I haven't used any of the other stuff like the twist, the its that you have to spin 360 degrees.
Yeah.
Which I don't love that thought, but they seem way easier to get in and out. They're not as tight.
they're not
I
bad.
think
it
they
depends.
break more though.
Do they
More
break
often.
I haven't had one
The
break.
bottoms break off.
To be honest with you, I have other people whose break. My stuff hasn't broken. Besides the first time I installed it, but I didn't install them right back in the day. But the turbo ones I've never had broken, and I've never had one break since I've been starting to do it more.
Right.
So they're both equal in my mind. But going back to what else you can use a thumb mold, which you take a mold. There's a mold material, and you can inject it into a thumb you really like. You can create it's like a blue mold where you can then pour around the ball plug or whatever you use to make the thumb. So that way it's the same every time. I have a few of those. I have a few people who use those. They've become a little bit more not as popular because I can put them into one of the interchangeable thumb systems.
Right.
So I don't really have to worry about it anymore. The thing about those, the pros is that if they aren't every ball, you don't have to take your thumb in and out of each one and move them and do all this.
Right.
But the only problem is if you're swelling or you have a smaller thumb that day, you have to change every one over. You have to put more tape in and do this and do that.
All of the balls.
Right. So it makes it a little bit more of a pain.
That's why I love having switch grips. I never got a thumb molded,
Yeah.
but I've felt them, and I've maybe even thrown one from somebody else's ball.
Yeah.
I just didn't love, and maybe it's changed since then because it's been a couple of years since they've touched one. I didn't love the texture of the thumb.
They're not
It was
bad.
too slippery for me. I really like the more
This urethane type
rough
feel.
thumb slug. Even back when some of the slugs that we used to have were really hard. Those ones I didn't like either because they were so smooth.
Yeah.
I like the softer thumb slugs that have more
A
friction.
little more friction so you can hold on to it a
Yeah.
little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then there is a no slug option. You don't have to use a slug. And then the last option, which is kind of popular, there's Ultimate, which is kind of like the turbo with the tabs on the side. I didn't really take a picture of those because I don't really prefer to use them. They just seem to not work very well. I don't have.
Oh,
luck with them.
that's right. Those are the 4-tab
Yeah, the
ones.
4
they have
tab
two
on
on
the
each
sides.
side,
Yeah,
top
they're
and
kind of
bottom.
they're kind of a
Yeah,
pain.
yeah.
They're not
easy.
bad idea, but they're a pain. And then the last but not least, the ones that are creating all the buzz, the Joe pose. There's a picture of the thumb slug. So it's kind of like a turbo where there's an outer piece to it. It's not just a slug, and then it's got a screw on the bottom of it, and then you screw it in.
The actual slug has a screw, not
Yes,
just like
the actual slug,
its
not
that
just
have
the bottom.
Yeah, the little plastic
Yeah,
piece.
it's the actual built into it. So it's very interesting. I haven't really seen a lot of those being used. I have a few people who ask about them, and I say I don't use them because then it requires a whole nother bit, possibly, or changing my depth, or I'm not really sure. So I just rather keep it with the two that we're using now,
Yeah.
which is Vice and Turbo, and I have some thumb molds options here, and obviously some thumb slugs.
I would really like to try them, though. I know it takes a whole bit
Great.
of effort, but
Here we go.
I just want to try it.
Kyle wants to do it.
it.
Order them up. And then what else do we have? Then we were going to fingers.
Yeah.
You want to go into fingers?
Well,
Do you have any
let's
last tidbits?
hang on thumbs for a second here. Austin, you use
Turbo.
the turbos as well, right? So this is me here. I got the turbos down in the bottom. Austin.
And
We should maybe do like for people that don't know, a little. Oh my goodness, that's heavy. A little demo, I guess.
People are
Like,
gonna be able to see it.
I don't know. I'm trying to show them. You just do one little half turn, and then it slides out. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Whereas you got a thumb in yours, right?
I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see.
You got a thumb in yours.
There's a thumb in it for the Vice ones, and they do screw. They have to keep coming out. You have to keep turning them out.
Right. You'll see a lot of guys spin the ball over the
They
top
spin
of the
it.
thumb.
This is the thread where it threads
Yeah.
into the bottom, and then you spin it back in and just.
Yeah.
It's a 360 turn. Hopefully you could see that. I don't really know. It's really heavy going that way. Both are really good. It just depends on what you like. The starter kit for Jopo, I won't be disappointed. I know I won't be disappointed, but the thing is, in my opinion, they're all literally the same.
The functionality wise.
The functionality, they all do the same thing.
Sure.
There's a thumb slug in it. I put my thumb in it. It just depends on which brand you're going to use. The Turbo and the Vices are completely fine. I don't have any customers having problems. If they had a problem, maybe we think of something else. Typically, it's because the slug is too high on something, so it breaks the thumb, the interchangeable piece itself. Or there's just too much glue in the bottom when I just got to work it out a pinch. I don't really have
Well,
issues.
that's a whole nother thing is who's drilling your ball and do they have the right depth set?
Well, yeah, there's also depth setting, which we're not going to get into. There's a whole other can of worms.
Well, I mean, just the fact that if the
collars on the bits are different. So the
right, you want to think
different.
about, if you have a ball that you like and you happen to switch Pro Shop operators, they may not follow the recommended depth setting.
They might change it from out of factory. Typically, out of factory, they're all the same. And then when people get them, sometimes they change them depending.
But then you have a thumb that's too low.
It could be a little odd. Right. Then you have it's too low.
Too high.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the too high, I don't think would be a problem.
Well, you can buzz it down, but then you got to do all of your other stuff.
Well, no.
Or
Once you buzz the thumb down, you're done. If it's too high.
In your new ball.
Yeah.
But in your other ones, that'll be too low. Yes.
Oh, if it's too high in the new ball.
Right.
Okay,
right. So if you have 5-6 ball balls that are all set, I'm just saying something to think about.
Yeah.
Making
you
sure
have to pay
that
attention
the
to it.
depths
That's
are
for
all
sure.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But yes, you have to make sure the depths are correct. They're all good though.
Functionality wise,
they're all the same. They just the way they get there is
yes,
different.
right. Yeah, it's a half turn or a full turn.
Right.
What about the feel of the slugs though? In between, I mean, obviously
depends.
we've only done its and turbo. We haven't got to use the Joe Pros yet.
I've used Ultimate Thumb Slugs in turbo switch grips because I get the blanks typically.
Yep.
So that way I can mill out the thumbs for the guys because it'll fit my Ferrari. So like Austin has a pretty wide thumb. And if it's a flat thumb with a really wide knuckle on it. So we have to make a big knuckle. So what we do is we take it from the urethane slug, we put it in the Ferrari, and then we actually put it into Ferrari's over there. And we put it into the blank inner, and then we insert the inner into the, then we glue it in, we insert the inner into the ball, and then we twist it. I have some things that'll twist down to, and then we cut it down. That way he's got exactly what he's looking for. That's a Ferrari. There's angles on there so we can cut it in the correct angle. Austin could be a 40-degree angle. I could be a 55, and Kyle could be a 20. It just tells me where all the angles are, and then we mill it. So I don't think you get Kyle. You're a little tricky. Austin's had the same thumb for about a year and a half now. You probably need a new one soon.
I've had the same thumbs for a couple of years.
I will.
We drilled you one before nationals, and you colored it in.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I have two thumbs, and you should. By the way, even though you have interchangeable thumbs, I would also definitely recommend having a couple of different thumbs, maybe, so
Different
that
sizes.
one, if it breaks,
Yep.
two, large or small, basically.
I just use
And then
tape.
I use tape too, but some people, I will say, like my wife,
Will not use tape.
hates tape.
I know.
So,
Tell her to get over it.
but we just started her on the switch grip. So.
We did get her on the switch grip. She
Yeah.
seems to be happy. I talked to her today about it.
Yeah.
She's like, I haven't had a problem since we did it. Good. There's gonna be a problem tonight.
She's throwing the ball good too.
Now
I will include that the only issue I see with the turbos is when they start to wear.
that's what
You
he
can
said.
feel the movement.
Yeah, you can actually feel it. And
It'll move in and out. If
Yeah.
say you drop it faster than normal.
Yeah, and sometimes even if you have taped up the outside,
It'll still move
you
a
can still
little
feel it. Yeah.
Right. So all are good. Now going into your fingers, there's a lot of different styles. We're just going to focus on lifts and ovals because those are the most common, and bareback.
Right.
Because I have them on here. So
Don't-
basically,
Don't be inappropriate.
is that inappropriate? It's not inappropriate. It's what people call them here.
Okay.
A lot of people call them that.
That's fine. That's
All right.
fine. That's fine.
Anywho.
Yeah.
Staying basic, we've got lifts, which Kyle uses. You can see they have T. They have like a little lift here, a T here. It gives you a quarter inch under, so it helps you create a stronger hole vector.
That's
Which helps
pitch
you
for those that aren't
pitch,
familiar.
which creates a
Quarter inch
stronger
under
hole
pitch.
vector. So that way you're able to lift it a little harder. It gives you an edge to kind of your fingers can stay in it, and you can create more force onto those holes, which helps you lift it. The ovals, which Austin uses here, and so do I. There are no lifts on it because we don't want lift. We want to just have it come overhand because we both hit it pretty well. So these just keep us from not lifting up so hard on it, and it actually takes the strength of the hole out, so you can't lift it as hard. So, it's pitch as well. It's basically pitch, but I call it strength of hole because I can kind of just makes it my brain easier.
My brain worked good.
Brain works easier. So it all depends on the player too, what you like to use. Kyle uses lifts. I don't remember why we went to ovals and then he went to lifts.
I don't remember exactly why. I think I wanted to just try it, and I liked the way it
Yeah.
felt. Because I started, for those that don't know, but when I went to started bowling in college, I switched to, as Anthony likes to put it, bareback.
Yeah. That's Kyle's ball right
no
there.
grips.
That's with the lifts.
And so I really, to this day, I still love the way the no grips feels. I usually would put a quarter inch under pitch as well,
Yeah.
just to give me that lift.
Right.
But I love the way that the bowling ball itself feels on my fingers.
Right.
The problem being, just like anybody, I'm sure,
Swelling.
but yeah, my hands can change daily, morning to afternoon to whatever. So I would end up, drilling the ball to feel great. And then one day later, I would need to work it out. And then the next day, I would need to put tape in. So it was just very frustrating. Now, when we switch to grips, we can do the vacuum grip style, which gives me a little bit of flexibility as my fingers go in the grip. So that is ultimately the reason why we switched from ball to grips.
Yep.
But then for some reason, I think to go back to the lift because I had the
You wanted
pitch
more
in
lift,
the
I think.
fingers.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was my evolution of going from no grips to grips.
Yeah. So obviously, Kyle uses the lifts. Austin, I don't. I do put some pitch in my fingers though, just a little bit, just to create
with the ovals,
just to create a little bit of a stronger hole, so I can kind of lift it a little bit better. It's only an eighth, so it's not as much as the lifts would be. So it helps you kind of not grab it, but catch it on the bottom a little bit easier, so that way you can lift up on it a little harder. Austin is completely neutral in his grips. Also, going for the grip styles, there's a lot of other styles. So there's vacuum grips, which the tops expand, and the top inch of the hole is drilled with an 1 32 inches, and then the bottom bottom 3/4 of an inch is drilled with a 31/32. That's to kind of give you a vacuum feel also, so that way you can kind of move your fingers around.
Right.
So in case you do swell, there's some extra space. Also, if you have arthritis or something like that, where you have a lot of pain in your fingers, it kind of alleviates the pain because there's no hard edges really.
Right.
Unless you have really big fingers. I've done it for a few guys and they swear by them because they take a lot of pain out of their hands. Kyle and myself use inch vacuum grips, or not really vacuum grips. We just call them inch vacuum grips. So we use an inch on the top hole, an inch down, and then we use our 31/32. It just gives us a little bit more wiggle room,
Right.
Because we do swell a little bit, but it also, we like the feel of having that hard edge around our fingers, so that way we can really feel, because I feel like you have a little feeling loss with your fingers when you have vacuums because they're too big.
When
sometimes.
I first initially tried vacuum grips, it was the full size.
Yeah, they're too big.
Inch and 32nd.
Yeah.
There was way too much play in the
Right.
fingers to be able to have a good feel on the ball. So I went away from it, or maybe I just tried somebody else's again. And then came up with the idea, or maybe you watched a YouTube video or something, but
we used an inch for a while,
but then switched to an inch instead of an inch and 32nd, and that even 1/32 of an inch was enough to make it
you can
way
feel the edges
better.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So we use kind of like fake vacuum grips. It is a nice thing, especially when you bowl a lot of tournaments. You can, your fingers are swelling a little bit. It just gives you that little extra wiggle room, so you don't bleed like I used to bleed when I didn't use grips.
Not only that, it does give you wiggle room, but you can also size down your grips at that point.
Yeah, you can size down,
and then every time you put your fingers in the ball,
tight.
it stretches, it's tight,
Yeah,
and you're right up against the ball
right.
like you should be.
The only thing is they do wear out quite a bit. And if you do go from regular grips to vacuum grips or inch vacuum grips, you need to probably go down a size or 2 sizes.
Right.
So just make sure you're ready to invest in grips if you go down for every ball.
Such an expensive expense.
Yeah. So there's no grips, whatever. You put a little bit of pitch in it to try to help create some lift. But some guys do like that because they come out a little cleaner. No, you don't throw more revs with lifts or ovals. It's kind of like a myth from what I've seen. It's just the fact that you raise your track a little bit with the lift, so you might think you're really lifting on it harder. A lot of guys do put pitch in the fingers if you don't use grips, so that way you can kind of lift a little harder. Yes, Carl uses vacuum grips. You have to replace them a lot because they get very stretchy, worn out. Yes, I've noticed that as well, but the inch vacuum grips or the inch fake vacuum grips, they don't wear out nearly as fast. It is just kind of a thing that I've seen.
Maybe he's using too many millimeters.
Okay, Kyle, that's
they're in the UK.
I know.
Although they do use miles, and I think they use feet and inches. We talked about this last time, but I've already forgotten. Sorry.
Do not get off topic, Kyle. We're already over our time limit.
They definitely use their feet.
They do. They use their feet. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then, so now we've talked about the fingers, the thumbs. We're going to get into just kind of some stuff that is, fit style. Obviously, there's a conventional grip, which is for your beginner. It just kind of gets them comfortable. They learn their fundamentals. They can throw it straight. It's not really to learn how to hook or anything, how to throw a hook or get spin on it. It's just kind of to help you learn your fundamentals. Also, we have a semi, which is a little bit farther. It's not a full-on fingertip. It's very close to it, but fingertips are a little uncomfortable for people who don't bowl before. So a lot of adults who just start bowling, if they don't bowl two-fingered, I typically give them a semi because they understand the concept of trying to get a little more lift on it and try to hook it instead of a full-on fingertip, because that makes it, a lot of people say it's uncomfortable.
For adults, like I think most kids, you should drill conventional. For adults, do you think there's any reason for a very beginner to not just start out with a semi fingertip?
No, usually I just put them in a semi fingertip.
Right. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I always do, because what's the point? They're not, unless they really don't care what they shoot. Typically, everybody wants to get a little better. So if they can't throw a hook, you're wasting their time and money. So typically, I put them in a semi because they can at least try to get the feel for it. And then it's easier to make it a fingertip after it's a semi. You can slug it a little bit, so you don't have to waste as much money.
Yep.
And then fingertip is obviously what most people use. Austin, myself, we use a full-on fingertip where we only put our fingers into about the first crease. That's typically most players use on the tour.
In the world, well, that are actual, league bowlers, etc.
But there's two more grips, I had to throw on there. Kyle, well, let's see. This is Austin's fingertip grip. That's pretty standard. That is mine right there. Oh, that's not mine. That's Jake's.
That's Jake's.
Jake has no fingers.
Well, he has fingers.
He has no grips, and he also uses the vice.
That'd be freaking interesting, though, am I right?
Yeah.
If you had no fingers, or just had to thumb it down the lane. That'd be sick.
Also, you can add a pinky hole if you have issues with your hand. That's also a molded thumb.
Well, it's hard to see, but yes, there's a pinky there to the left.
In there.
Yep.
And then, so that is my ball there. Those are both fingertips, Austin's and mine. Then you have to add a CLT. Yes, this is ridiculous, people. Kyle learned how to do this. He's like, I really want to try it. So like we did it, and it took us forever to get it right.
Yeah.
And I still don't think I get it right. But this is what's called the center line transfer. Kyle doesn't feel like typically when you have a straight line, your fingers and your thumb, it's really not comfortable because your thumb is not directly underneath your fingers.
Right.
So why
you end up with this big stretch and this hole?
Why would you
feel?
Yeah, why would you have your thumb there underneath your fingers? It should be to the side. So this is one of the more common ones that I'm starting to see is a center line transfer. Kyle, I don't really know if we do it right, but we measure. It works. So we draw the center line, as you can see.
Like it normally would be for a thumb down the middle.
And then I etch, as the Britons or Australians would call it. I scribe the thumb. I scribe where the thumb needs to be, the cut, and then I measure 1.5 inches over, and then I put the angle. I put my prosect at the 1.5 inch mark and measure 13 degrees, and then I put a mark on 13 degrees, and then I draw a line from the 1.5 inch mark to the 13 degrees up, and then I measure to that line to make Kyle's span. So. And then he drills on a 13-degree
I'm
angle.
lost. I'm even lost right now.
Yeah, it just works because he said his ball felt good. So obviously I did it right.
It does feel good. And Sarah had mentioned that nobody etches or scribes or etches over there.
I scribe everything. All my competitive players.
I would say
scribe.
For me, at least, it's really important. Like if
you can see what I did.
Not me personally. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
But I think for you and for. If anybody ever had to drill for me for some reason,
they can see.
They just know what the measurements are, and they can
see
replicate it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean I did that because I thought it would look pretty good, and it actually came out good. I was kind of surprised when I did. I was like, "Wow, that looks pretty good." I thought I was going to screw it up somewhere down the line. But what this
give people a lot of confidence in your skills.
What this is used for is people with a lot of flexibilities in the thumb, where they're double joint or something. Their thumb can move a lot. You know, when you stretch your thumb up, you know your thumb actually turns to the side, creating an angle.
Yeah.
So that is why this is more popularly used. The younger people have a lot of joint flexibility in their thumbs, so their fingers actually move. I was actually told I should do this by Brian Leclerc, but I just never did because I didn't feel comfortable doing it. I don't really think I have to do it. I don't have any problems with my fit. But if you're ripping or something like that, you need to get it looked at. And then there is offset thumb, which a ton of guys are using that I know of. You know, the thumb, it's not a center line transfer where the fingers are angled on a different line. You're drilling pitches off of the other line and the thumb is straight. You know, they put the thumb kind of how it is on what I showed you with Kyle's, which is there. And instead of having the angle, the fingers are just shifted over to the right. So that way
like the middle finger
sits.
Would be on the center.
Yeah,
line.
The middle finger would be on the center line and the ring finger would be off of it.
Right.
Because your thumb doesn't sit as we talked about, your thumb doesn't sit under those fingers. It sits to the side.
Right.
So it's just a little more comfortable, they say. And if you have a lot of joint flexibility there as well, it makes it just a little bit easier because you do kind of shoot it out to the side versus, some guys don't have flexibility, so it's a little easier to get them straight back. But guys who have a ton of flexibility, their fingers they can really change their spans and stuff. It's kind of ridiculous.
The tests, right?
Yeah. I do that with a bunch of people, and I have kids like, "Oh, I didn't know it's double jointed there," and then they start doing all this wacky crap. I'm like, "Hold on, buddy, it's kind of weird that you can do that." And then the last but not least, we do have the two-hander, two-fingered.
Who?
Jack Papow. He had to send me a ball today. So I could put on the show. There is one more Sarge Easter. We'll get to that. But the two fingers, I do put some pitches in those for people, because you don't necessarily want them to rip it and grip it because they already have enough revs. Typically, their fingers are pitched away. On Jack, though, we do pitch his middle finger under to raise his track, and his middle finger is away. I think that's what it is.
Ring
I can't remember.
Finger is under or middle finger is under?
Middle finger's under.
And then his ring finger is
His
away.
ring finger's away, so he's a little more ring. And it helps him roll it off his hand versus having both fingers to grab it.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of two-hander guys are away anyways just because they don't want to grab it. They want to roll it. We haven't gotten there with Jack. maybe one day, but he doesn't gnaw on it like chicken dinner.
Right.
Like
He's working on his game.
He's working on
well,
the
just like everybody should be. But
yes,
he's
he's getting better with
young
what
and
he's got.
and he's got.
We
coming
don't
a
need to
long way.
we don't need to mess around yet.
Right. Exactly.
And then last but not least is a Sargeester. That's just the decreased revs. I have never drilled a Sargeester. Have you?
No.
I know you have limited pro shop time. You've done a little bit of it.
I think I
back in
did
the
3
day.
fingers, but I don't. But not a Sargeester.
Yeah, Sargeester. I don't know. It looks like the ring finger's lower on this.
Yeah.
And this guy doesn't.
It's
have
almost
a
like
grip in it.
almost like
It's
a
almost conventional.
Yeah.
It's very close to a conventional. On the
Yeah.
other finger is a fingertip. I don't drill anything like that. I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
how
know
they
the
do
purpose of it.
Well, it's to
to
it's
reduce
those decreased
revs.
revs.
Right.
It's the decreased revs
Right.
because you use both fingers, so it's making you use one.
Right. Basically. Yeah.
More your middle finger is more dominant, so they keep that.
Yeah.
and
So
you're
at least you
eliminating that
can
extra
keep the
fingertip.
control,
Yes.
but actually still rev the ball with your middle finger.
Yeah, it's very interesting to look at. I looked at it today and I was like, whoa, my brain hurts. My brain doesn't work very often, but with that, it was like, whoa, it looks really weird.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody get something drilled like that before either.
Something we didn't really touch on before we go are the real differences between the finger grips. I know there's not a lot, but I think we use mostly Vice here, right?
For what? Finger grips?
Turbos.
Turbos are
yeah.
our finger grips right
Yeah,
now, yes.
and then the Vice, is it
We
the
do
Vice
have
that
them.
have the grips on them?
On the inside?
Yeah.
No, those are both do. It's just they're different. So Turbo has Turbo Quad Classics, which is what we use. The Turbo Quads have like that mesh material in it. The Vice also do have some that have nubs in them.
Yeah.
There's also some that have like a half a nub underneath. So they're ovals with a half nub underneath to get your
Right.
finger under. There's silicone ones. There are so many different kinds.
Yeah.
They like Ultimate has sticky ones where they're like super glue on the inside, so you stick in them longer. I use those for a little
Pine
bit.
tar.
Yeah, they're literally like pine tar. I'm starting to use Vice, and I'm starting to use the clear ones now because they have a little more tack to them. And I really kind of like the
I just like the
tackiness.
clear because you don't see them.
I like the clear because they're
The best
tacky. There's
thing
a
ever.
purpose. There's a purpose for me.
I'm just saying.
Whatever.
But there's also I can't remember who they are, but they're not lifts, they're not ovals, but they're like halfway in between. Where
Power Contour.
right?
Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
There's a bunch of different brands.
I have a couple of those. Yes, Sarah, you can use interchangeable fingers. It's absolutely correct. Me personally, my opinion only, but I don't think it makes any sense. I think it's pointless. What's that?
Interchangeable fingers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just like on demo balls, they have those 31,
Yeah.
30-second sleeves.
To be honest with you, I don't think I would spend that much time on that because
It also just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you're wearing out grips anyway.
But you're keeping it constant at least.
Yeah, I guess.
If you're trying to control the variables, interchangeable fingers would be up there with interchangeable thumbs.
Not as high though. I mean, in my opinion, my thumb anyway.
I think grips have less variability because
if
they're.
you put new grips in before every tournament, it doesn't matter.
That's true
I don't
too.
do that,
You could
though.
do that.
But I mean, yeah, I don't know. And then Sarah says, some of them use them and they pop out at release. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
There's so
I mean,
much
let's be honest here.
force on your fingers.
We don't use a lot of
compared
glue
to
here,
thumbs.
anyways. Sometimes if I don't
It
think to glue
happens.
them in, but
Yeah,
I don't know if I'd rip them out, but they just seem like
I've used
seem
them.
like a little
I've used them on
extra.
demo balls. I don't see it being. My guess is that's probably how they were developed. As far as the fingers being interchangeable, I can't
Right.
imagine that there's a whole slew of people out there that are changing their fingers each ball.
right.
It just seems excessive.
I know a
to
few
me.
guys who do it at the NEBA.
I'm saying there's not. I'm saying the grand.
Yeah,
on
I
the grand
think it's
scale.
silly. I think it's silly.
There's probably a very small percentage.
I think it's silly.
All right. So did we cover it all? Did we get it? There's actually a lot more than you really think, and we've gone way over. So before we do go, we got to talk about Bowler of the Week. Remember, if you would like to be Bowler of the Week or would like to nominate someone to be Bowler of the Week, you can click the link in the show notes, as well as our Facebook page, Instagram page, all that good stuff that has all of the links. So this week, the Bowler of the Week is... You picked him.
You can say it.
All right. Jack Scaccia, ladies and gentlemen. That's Anthony's dad for people that don't know. And on Tuesday night, I subbed for Jake, which is your dad's partner. I shot like a measly
Bowling partner.
I shot like a measly I don't even know, 880 or something. I don't even know. But
you mean 660.
oh, that's right. It was
only
three
three
games. My bad. Yeah, 660 or something. And then he beat me by almost 200 pins.
Yeah, he had a 826.
Yeah, I think
278,
that sounds right.
279, 265.
Yeah, something like that.
Front eight the last game.
Yeah, he should have
too.
had 300 there, but
He actually threw some good shots.
yeah.
But
And that was on one of the hardest pairs in the house.
that is on the hardest pair in the
Yeah.
house, 17-18, where
Yep.
the scores kind of go really far down. But yeah, congratulations to him. We're not going to harp on him because, whatever, it's expected.
And then two bits of news before we go.
2 bits.
We're
We're already 20 minutes over. You better
I
hurry
know,
up.
dude. As of this night, we have secured a guest for next week, so please tune in because it is the THB. Dick Allen is going to be on the show next week, so that's very exciting. Why are you looking at me like that?
I wonder if he's going to come up here. I want to make him pasta.
So Dick Allen will be on the show next week, which is very exciting. So if you guys want to email us some questions to ask him, if you're not going to be able to be on the live show to chat, then send them our way to downloadingpod@gmail.com. Dick Allen will be on next week. And then in a few weeks, on February 10th, we have Ron Hicklin Jr. from Creating the Difference. So we got a little bit of lineup here, which is pretty exciting. So
People like us.
all you got to do is send him a message. But yeah, Dick Allen is like my spirit animal. So
I can't wait for him. He's going to be great.
yeah,
It's going to be a grand old time.
Yeah.
Good old fellow South Carolinian on the show.
Anthony spent 5 minutes in South Carolina. So
2 years.
Yep.
3
All
years.
right. So it is definitely time for us to go bowling. People are trying to get in here. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends because it'll help us to grow here. And you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you can't watch the show on YouTube or live, you can always download it and listen on any major podcast outlet. And while you're doing that, please give us a 5-star review. Also, visit our merch shop because you can get some of this sweet swag that we got on tonight. This was an accident, by the way. We did not mean to wear the same shirts, but I got my Will Bowl for Food shirt. Anthony's got his Lefty Love shirt. And you can get our hats and whatnot in the Etsy shop. And if you'd like to sponsor the show, you can email us at downlanepod@gmail.com. Thank you to Austin VanBuren, the producer. Great show tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
Jack Scaccia, proprietor of Town and Country Lanes. Thanks for letting us use
Also,
the pro
Bowler
shop
of the Week.
and Bowler of the Week. And thank you, Anthony, for another great show.
It's great to be here for 17th straight week as the guest.
Do you have anybody to thank tonight?
I have,
Were you instructed to thank
thanks
anyone?
to my girlfriend for letting me be at my job today. And I'd like to thank myself for showing up ready some notes.
Okay. Thank you to my family, Stephanie, Zach, and Ethan. We will see you guys next week. This is Down Lane Podcast.